It is now our time to invite a special guest up here this evening. Many of you may have seen her share her story recently on ABC 11 here in the Triangle in a story about comprehensive biomarker testing. And Gwen Orilio is here tonight with her beautiful family, and we're now going to hear a few comments from her about her journey with lung cancer.
I'll start with a quote from Gilda Radner. She said, "Having cancer has given me membership into an elite club I'd rather not belong to." So here's how I became a member. The school year started like any other. I was teaching AP Calculus and had plans to coach track and field in the spring. I was still trying to figure out how to raise a child. My daughter, Callie, was only 16 months old at the time. I was only 31 years old. In September of 2014, a routine eye exam found a tumor on the back of my eye. And that led to, I went over to Duke and Durham to the eye center over there and had to have lots of tests done, including a needle biopsy of the eye. I don't recommend them. It's very, very painful. That test came up inconclusive. So after that tumor started growing and then affecting my vision, that led to a PET scan. So the PET scan was ordered in December. So Christmas Eve of 2014, I was called by Dr. Maruthian Jaya. I don't know how to really, Dr. M. And he told me that they found a tumor on my lung. So Merry Christmas. So I met with Dr. White over at Duke Raleigh, and on January 2nd of 2015, I had the surgery that would change the rest of my life. I was in the recovery room, just waking up from the surgery, and Dr. White came in and said, and confirmed my fears and said, "You have cancer." And what we found was cancer. And I said, "All right, let's do this. What's my next step?" Okay, and that next step was meeting the next members of my team. Little did I know, I was meeting the most important member of my team, Dr. Jennifer Garst. Dr. Garst was convinced I had a gene mutation that was driving the cancer growth. She told me the test would take several weeks to get back to me. And I was on winter break from school, so I was able to recover from the surgery without missing much school. I went into school the next day, or one of the days that we had a faculty meeting, and I went in with my mom, and I faced my whole faculty and I said, "I need you all to know that I have stage 4 lung cancer." And I thought it was very important that I told them because I wanted them to support me, and I needed them to be positive around me. I told them not to Google anything, because as Dr. Garth told me, those numbers are not my numbers. And this year I celebrated 5 years of survivorship. Let's see. Okay, so the tests that were run for the ELK and the EGFR mutations, when I was recovering from surgery, they both came back negative. So with my daughter in mind, I was afraid I wasn't going to see her to go to kindergarten. I said that I wanted to start chemo right away, as soon as I was healthy. So I started an aggressive round of chemo. I developed what the doctors call an impressive rash from one of the clinical trial medicines in the chemo. I lost all my hair, but I continued teaching. My coworkers and my co-head track coach at Cleveland High School in Johnston County organized a fundraiser 5K to show their support. Okay, so my surgery was in January, to remind you. This 5K was in February. The event was a huge success. They raised close to $30,000 in just that 1 month. And it made it so that I could focus on getting healthy, and I didn't have to worry about the finance behind it. And that $30,000 is still working this year. So I'm very grateful for that still. I had family come from all over, New York, Delaware, Florida, all over the East Coast. It was amazing. So the track season started in the middle of February, and I decided that I would like to still coach because I felt that keeping my mind busy would keep my mind off the cancer. So there was no hair with my toboggan, as you call it down here in the South. And I was coaching. After my 3rd round of chemo, it was discovered that I had the ROS1 gene mutation. So in late March, I stopped taking the chemo, and I started taking Xalkori from Pfizer 2 times a day, and I was on that for about 2 years. On Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day of 2017, I had a brain MRI that showed that the cancer had spread to my brain. So I had to talk with my team, Dr. Gars mainly. I forgot to mention that, so back up, September 2016, I went up to Boston to meet one of the super docs of ROS1, Dr. Alice Shaw. Dr. Gars helped me set up that meeting, and I met with her in September because I wanted her on my team. And then in February, I needed her as part of my team. So I started a clinical trial of lorlatinib, and that trial required me to fly to Boston every 3 weeks. And that was in February while I was still teaching and coaching track. So I was flying to Boston every 3 weeks. And that lasted up till the summer, and then it went to every 6 weeks, and then every 9 weeks, and now it's every 12 weeks. I go on Thursday. Thursday's my 12th week. So that's pretty much the story. We're pretty much caught up with it. I was going to mention the lunge forward, or the ABC 11, but you already mentioned that for me. So Dr. Gars did introduce me to the Lung Cancer Initiative. I believe the first event I attended was the Survivors Brunch in June. And I brought my sister with me, my blog writer, my sister. And it was great to be around other survivors. I think that was the first event that I was with other survivors, and I got to meet people like John, who also found his cancer in his eye, and it was just great to know that there were other people like me, and seeing people like Toma, and she told me how long she's been surviving, and that was just, it had great hope. Let's see. So since 2015, my team and I have been doing the Lunge Forward 5K. We're disappointed it's not a run anymore, but we'll have to go to the Triad. There we go. Yep. I think I've got that all. I went out of order, so now I'm lost.
Take your time.
I think I'm pretty much every November I share Lung Cancer Fact of the Day with my high school students. I teach high school math. I feel it's important to educate the students so that they know that anyone with lungs can get lung cancer. So I have a lot to be thankful for. My daughter is now doing great in first grade. And that was a great. still teaching. The track season started on Wednesday, still coaching. I fly to Boston on Thursday. My scans from last week showed that I continue to be in remission. So the silver lining of being in this club is the people I have had the privilege of meeting. I owe my strength and positivity to my team, a team that consists of my coworkers, my mom and dad who are always there for me, nursing me back from that needle biopsy. They took care of me for that one. My sister, my blog writer, my husband that takes great care of me and our daughter, and deals with the side effects of medicine that kills cancer in your brain, which is, I can be kind of moody sometimes. And support systems like the Facebook group for the ROS1 and the Lung Cancer Initiative, and my doctors. I have all the people and groups that I have mentioned. They show so much care and support and comfort to me. So thank you to all the researchers in the room. You're making a huge change on how lung cancer is treated. And without people like you, I might not be alive today. Thank you to the doctors in the room and other healthcare professionals. The compassion you have for your patients help us have hope in our futures. Thank you to the Lung Cancer Initiative and all other advocates in the room for your work to support those battling lung cancer and helping to change the face of lung cancer. Thank you to the caregivers in the audience. You mean more to us than you will ever know. Thank you to all the survivors in the room. You have given me strength and courage through this awful disease, and you also give hope to others. So I'm going to end with my advice is surround yourself with people that will support and encourage you, and don't be afraid to share your story.
Happy birthday to Gwen's mother. Happy birthday. Thank you so much for coming. Gwen, thank you so much for sharing your story. You inspire so many of us at Lung Cancer Initiative, and every time we've reached out to Gwen and asked for her support and sharing her story, she's so eager, and we just really appreciate that. Thank you.